Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. I'm Stephen Fox from Upkeep Media. At Upkeep Media, we're focused on helping property management companies grow their business. And today, I am fortunate enough that Mike Connolly from East Bay Property Management was willing to sit down with me and speak to me about how he was able to successfully grow his property management company to 545 doors in just under 6 years, which is honestly, it's incredible to be able to do that. Mike, would you be able to just kind of share a little bit of information about yourself and maybe how you got started in property management and your experience?
Oh, sure. Thanks, Stephen. Well, I tell people that I've been in property management since I was 5 years old, because that's when my parents noticed me playing in the sandbox with my two brothers. And what I did was I built a little wall around my toys. And my parents looked down at the sandbox and they said, he's not going to be a doctor, he's not going to be a lawyer, he's going to manage property. So that's what I often told people when I first got into this business. I also would tell them that I'm 62, and when I got out of college 40 years ago, I started managing our family shopping center. It had 7 tenants in the center, so I managed that for really up until we just recently sold it. So when owners would ask how long I've been doing property management, I would say since I got out of college 40 years ago. Because in this business, an owner does not want to hire a property manager unless he's experienced. So you've got to kind of find an angle, if you're new in this business, to be able to establish credibility with owners. So that was kind of my entree in property management. It's my third career. My first career was 20 years in furniture, then 10 years in Christian ministry, and the last almost 6 years in property management.
Awesome. That's a heck of a transition from Christian ministry to property management, but it seems like you've definitely been making it work. I guess, would you be able to share with everybody what are some of the main strategies you've used to be able to grow your business?
Well, I actually put together a video as well as a presentation at several NARPM conferences entitled 12 Ways to Explode Your Portfolio. So number one is direct mail postcards, then newsletters, landlord seminars, my presentation folder, my rehab board, a concise management agreement, bomb video, I believe very strongly in, my 5 guarantees, which are all on my website itself, which you've helped me so much with, Stephen. Buying doors from a realtor, that's been a small area of growth for me.
Okay.
Landlord seminars, they're more investment seminars. And then what to do when an owner wants to sell his property. So all 12 of those strategies are covered.
Got it. Okay. And I guess, are there certain strategies that worked best depending on where you were in your business? Like, I imagine you probably didn't roll all 12 of these strategies out the day you started. I guess, would you be able to kind of fill us in on that?
Absolutely. So you ask a great question, because these strategies are specific to where you are in your growth cycle, where you are in, are you a startup? Are you more of a mature business? So the first several years in property management, I started with no doors, and I immediately invested in direct mail. So my direct mail was in the form of postcards. And matter of fact, let's see. Yeah, here's a sample of a postcard for a typical mailing. They all come from a company called Vistaprint.
Yep.
And what you want to do if you're new in this business, because everybody wants to add 100 doors a year to their company, but guess what? That takes a lot of work. You've got to work hard, you've got to work smart, and there's going to be a tremendous amount of stress as a property manager if you want to add 8 to 10 doors a month. So
Definitely.
But that's what everybody wants to do. And that's what I've done. And to start, what you do is you go to your title company and you find out from your title company all the absentee owners in your specific trade area. So these are owners on the title that have a different mailing address than the property address. That tells you the home is a rental. You have to know that number in your trade area. Now, I manage in 8 cities. I have 17,000 absentee owners in those 8 cities. My biggest city is Fremont. I have 8,000 absentee owners in this town of 250,000. So I mail a hard-hitting postcard 4 times a year to those 17,000 absentee owners. And it costs me 30 cents a postcard. It's a jumbo-sized card. It's hard-hitting. It has my cell number on the postcard. It's 4-color, and you don't want to give up after 1 or 2 mailings. So if you're hitting a absentee owner 4 times a year, they're most likely going to respond when they have a vacancy coming up, or when they have a current vacancy. And you will, if you do that consistently, you will get in a given month about 30 to 40 leads per month, mailing 5,000 cards a month, and you're going to open up 8 to 10 doors a month.
The postcards that you send, do they have a specific call to action on them? Is it just advertising your property management services? Like, what makes them want to get in touch with you?
Well, they have definitely a call to action. This particular postcard I tried, it basically said, your Oakland apartment, because I did a mailing to apartment complexes in the city of Oakland, just to kind of test the waters.
Okay.
And I'm basically saying it has the worst cap rate of any type of rental property in the Bay Area. So that was a postcard to give them an incentive to possibly sell their apartment complex.
Yeah.
But all my postcards have a heavy call to action. They are basically saying that we can manage your property better than any other property manager. We can certainly manage it better than you, the owner. And it's got my photograph of my staff, photograph of me, a cell number. I've got a particular card. I don't have a card handy. But in any case, you want to mail 5,000 cards a month. So I made the transition after 2 years, Stephen, from postcard to newsletter. So my newsletter, you can see samples of it on my website. I've got 5 or 6 samples. And by the way, I will send all my postcards in a PDF. I have 16 different postcards, as well as my 8 newsletters, because I did 2 years worth of newsletters before COVID. And but I made the transition from postcard to newsletter. And the reason I like the newsletter is because instead of trying to sell in the newsletter, you're trying to help the owner. You're giving them a lot of information. You are going to be perceived as the expert in your trade area with the newsletter. And so I did that for a full 2 years before COVID hit.
That newsletter, you would send it, I imagine, by email?
No.
No,
it was
it was a printed out newsletter?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a printed out newsletter, and it's 4 pages.
Got it.
Let's see if I've got a copy of it here.
So when they get it in the mail, it also takes up a lot more space. It makes it more likely for them to pay attention to it.
Exactly, yes. The newsletter was, here's a sample. So the newsletter is 4-color, and it's got, in this particular newsletter, considering selling your rental in 2019, 5 questions to ask before showing your vacant property, all the tax deductions a landlord can take, and here are your top 9 goals as a landlord thinking of selling your rental. Here's some
Awesome.
tips. So
Okay.
anyway, the newsletter.
So that was kind of the strategy you used when you were first starting out.
Exactly.
And then from there, is that something you still use? Did you transition from that?
I progressed from the postcard to the newsletter. So the postcard was for my first 3 years in business, the newsletter for my last 2 years, and those my first 5 years of business were integral in adding 100 doors a year.
Got it.
So I will provide samples of my newsletter and postcards to anybody that asks. Just email me at mike@eastbaypmc, Peter Mary Charlie .com, and I'll send you a PDF of all my samples.
Cool. I guess of the strategies that you used, did you find that, or was there a certain strategy that produced the highest quantity of leads? I guess the postcards and the newsletter must have worked really well. Were there any other strategies that, say, were effective?
Yeah, Stephen, I would say it would be my landlord seminars have given me the highest quantity and quality of leads. So in my newsletter and in my postcard, I advertised two seminars. The first one was entitled the 12 Basics of Property Management.
Okay.
And this was to self-managing landlords. I would invite them to a Saturday morning seminar. It would be 2 hours long. I would serve brunch. It would go from 10 to 12. And they'd come to my office because I have a large lobby. I'd set up 60 to 70 chairs. And I'd present my PowerPoint on how to manage your home properly, how to do the proper amount of rehab, how to price the home correctly, how to advertise it, how to screen for a tenant, what kind of lease to use, what kind of tax deductions you need to be taking, how to provide maintenance. It was an unbelievably informative 2-hour seminar. I charged the owner $59.
Okay.
So you want to charge for it, and you're providing a brunch, and I'll allow them to bring their spouse. And so I would advertise that in the newsletter. I would also invite my existing owners to come to it. So if they had nothing better to do on a Saturday morning, they could come and hear how their property is being managed. So there were a number of attendees, because I was getting on any one Saturdays, sometimes I had to go a morning and an afternoon session because I didn't have enough room to accommodate all the attendees in the morning. I was at one time getting, before COVID, over 100 attendees on a Saturday morning. And I do the seminar 4 times a year. They would, at the end of the seminar, many owners would come to me and say, Mike, there's no way I can manage it the way you just presented. You go ahead and take it over. So I did a few of those every Saturday, and but I'd also get calls down the road from owners when they get a vacancy. They'd say, you know what, that guy that did the seminar was phenomenal. I'm going to have him manage it. So that allowed me to open up a lot of new accounts. So I put on a total of 8 seminars, and I will provide I've got a condensed version of my seminar, a 30-minute version on the homepage of my website. I'll also provide you with the PowerPoint slides for the seminar by simply emailing me again at mike@eastbaypmc.com.
Awesome.
The seminar I put on, Stephen, was another 2-hour seminar that I would do the following Saturday, and that was for investors. It was entitled, Should I Hold, Sell, or Exchange My Rental Property?
Okay.
And it was kind of an investment 101 seminar. In that seminar, I would show them what a cap rate is, because most owners don't understand how important a cap rate is in their investment equation. I would talk about the 1% rule, the 1031 exchange, tax deductions. Is it better to invest in a condo versus a home? what are the advantages of investing in commercial property, retail, office, warehouse. I cover all those basics in a 2-hour seminar. Very, very popular with owners. And it was free. This seminar worked because what I wanted at the end of the seminar was for them to say, we're interested in selling our current rental here in the Bay Area and doing a 1031 exchange for a better cap rate outside of the Bay Area. And that's where my brother, Tom, who's a broker that sells real estate, would get involved and help my owner.
Got it. So it seems like the overwhelming theme was provide a lot of value up front. And by basically providing value and showing them, we really know what it takes to manage a property successfully and we understand real estate investing, you would get people just naturally coming to you that were appreciative and essentially were like, you know what, Mike can do this better than I can.
Exactly. Yep. You're going to get a few of those with every seminar. Now, if you mail out 5,000 newsletters or postcards and you advertise a seminar, the 12 Basics of Property Management for $59, you're going to get at least a dozen attendees for a Saturday morning seminar. In addition, on the postcard, you're also going to offer them your services. So if they want to forget the seminar and just have you manage the property, they can choose that option. But you have a lot of, in my area, 80% of the rental properties are self-managed.
Okay.
And the owners, for the most part, are knuckleheads. They all think they know more than they do.
Okay.
And they come to you with all kinds of problems. Either the rental price is too high or the tenant is giving them issues. Not inspecting the home. They've done the incorrect rehab. So I've seen it all.
Got it. I think that kind of holds true in a lot of markets we see where there's just a lot of self-managed rental properties and the landlords just don't really know what they're doing. Sometimes they might have even, it might be an accidental landlord where they inherited the property and they sort of fell into it. So I think that probably holds true in most markets for anyone watching this. Another strategy that you spoke about is your website. So you mentioned that your website generates you a lot of leads. I guess what are some of the things that you've done to your website to get it to actually start to work for your business and help you grow your company?
Well, I honestly believe that my website is the most powerful selling website that I've ever seen among property managers. I've looked at a lot of great websites in our industry. I don't like any website better than ours. Our website, it sells. It's got 110 videos on it, almost all helping the owner.
Yep.
It has a lot of helpful downloadable forms for a self-managing owner. It's got market updates, helpful links, transparent pricing. I'm completely transparent with my pricing. I rank how we stand with our top 5 competitors in our trade area.
Yep.
It's got all my reviews on it because I have about almost 200 Google reviews. Has my 5 guarantees. It's got copies of my newsletter. And then basically so that website is really been my reason for adding almost 100 doors in 2021. Since I started working with Upkeep, it's been exactly 2 years, Stephen.
Yep.
And you just presented me in our last talk last week that in October of last year we had 1,185 visitors to our website. About what does that come to? About 40 a day, and for the month of October.
That was in 2020, a year ago. Yeah, exactly.
A year ago, 2021, 6,202 visitors to our website. That's 200 visitors a day.
Yep.
And that I attribute all of that to Upkeep because you've added backlinks, you've fine-tuned with your SEO services, you've fine-tuned the wording of our website, and we rank number one in just about every city that we do business in under property management.
Yep, and all the material that you created with the videos and the forums just helps when people get to the website. They're not just seeing another blanket type of property management website that looks similar to all your competitors. You have all this great information on there that really speaks to who your target market is, and because of that, it basically, as you said, it does a lot of the selling for you. So by the time they reach out, they feel like they've already known your company.
Exactly. Yeah. Just about every prospective owner I speak to now, and I get about 1 or 2 calls a day, is an owner that has gone through my website, spent some time on it, and looked at all my Google reviews.
Definitely can't undersell that, or can't oversell that enough, I should say. Google reviews are key, because even if you have 1 million people a day finding your company, if you have terrible reviews, very few people are going to reach out to you, right? And you know that, and that's why you've placed so much importance on getting, I think it's close to 200 reviews now?
Yeah, about 100, right around 200.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I guess for the last question I have for you, for someone that's looking to grow their property management company, what's the, biggest piece of advice you could give to that person?
The biggest piece of advice would be, number one, to email me, and I'll send you all my PDFs of these 12 strategies. And then you want to get some consulting. You want to reach out to the top property managers in our field. Mark Cunningham with Grace Property Management does one-on-one consulting. Brad Larson with Rentworks in San Antonio is a phenomenal consultant. And I do the same one-on-one. I've had a number of property managers come here for 4 hours, sit in my office, and they leave with a book of all marketing materials and operational materials, and they're ready to get going. So you've got, this is a tricky business. It's not for the faint of heart. And to market your business and to avoid liability, you've really got to reach out to experts.
I agree. I think there's no better person to learn from than someone who's already walked in that path. So save yourself years of headaches and just pay somebody that's already got that experience, and they'll be more than happy to share it with you. I will advise anybody listening to this, even if someone offers free consulting, offer to pay them, because you're going to get a lot more value from that than somebody who's basically just trying to give something away for free. The person that's doing it will be more motivated, and you're also going to be more motivated because you've now paid for this. You have to execute on it. Otherwise, you wasted your money. So definitely some great advice there, Mike.
Couldn't agree more.
Is there anything, I guess, before we end this, is there anything that you want anyone to know, how to reach out to you? So you mentioned your email. Maybe you can just let everybody know one more time.
Yep, it's Mike at East Bay, EASTBAY, PMC, PeterMaryCharlie.com. You email me a request for any of the 12 strategies, whether it be photos of my rehab board, my refined property management agreement that's only 3 pages long, my seminar PowerPoint, my newsletters, my postcards, and my presentation folder, which I really love. I'll send it all to you. Just email me and I'll get it to you.
I definitely recommend emailing them because I've seen them and it's great stuff. So if you, it takes 5 seconds of your time, and Mike's more than happy to help. So definitely reach out to him. Mike, thanks so much for taking the time and speaking with me today. Really appreciate it. And we'll speak again soon.
Sounds good. It's been a pleasure, Stephen.